Hello there, thank you for staying with us and welcome to another edition of Channels Beam right here on Channels Television. I'm Victor Matthias. Now, the ban by major tech companies placed on President Donald Trump in the wake of the Capitol riots has raised concerns as to the powers these companies wield, be it as a publishing platform or a platform where free speech is allowed and encouraged. While that debate was going on, one of these platforms updated its user policy, saying that by February the 8th, 2021, its users must accept some new terms and privacy policies or stand losing access to their accounts. This has also stirred up the hornet's nest and has led to calls for the boycott of the platform, which has about 2.5 billion users globally. This will be our focus on the program today, and we will also be looking at the rise and fall of cryptocurrencies in the past week. But let's first see what got online peeps talking in the past week.
The world watched in disbelief as pro-Trump protesters stormed the U.S. Capitol and disrupted a sit-in where lawmakers inside debated counting Electoral College votes confirming Joe Biden's victory at the 2020 U.S. presidential elections. Throngs of people pushed past police who were trying to block them from entering the building, but later were able to breach security and successfully entered the building, where one person was shot and later died. Applicants for the National Identity Number, NIN, have continued to complain over the slow process of obtaining the number, which is now necessary for SIM card registration and updates. Some have equally alleged that rampant extortion was being perpetrated at registration centers. They, however, called on the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, and the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami, to intervene in order to bring sanity to the system.
Well, there you go. Those were the trends in the past week, but you can be a part of the conversation from wherever you're watching around the world. Just tweet at us at Channels Beam or Channels TV at Victor_MBIDI. You can also use the hashtag Channels Beam as well as the hashtag Big Tech. But joining us today to look at these topics that I have spoken about earlier on, we have Bode Roberts. He is the co-founder of Datalium, a technology education company that provides value-packed premium digital skill sets for the future of work. He joins us right here in our studio in Lagos. Well, Bode, it's a pleasure to have you today on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We also have joining us via Skype, Bamishai Victor. He is a Nigerian medical doctor, an author, and a social political analyst. Victor is dedicated to a life of service that will positively transform both local and global paradigms. He joins us from Warsaw in Poland via Zoom. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the program today, Dr. Victor.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Indeed. Well, but it kicks out the conversation for us. I mean, big tech companies seem to be having or wielding some form of power over people who have pretty much over the years now relied on this platform to maybe socialize, disseminate information, and just pass the message. Are they being too powerful?
Okay, so for me, I think it's the right thing to do. Like putting some form of restrictions on how you make hate speeches on the internet, because the internet has, especially the big tech firms like the Amazon, the Facebook, the Twitter, they have about billions of users on that platform. So it's more like a social room where you need to actually put some edge to what you're saying online. Do you understand? So I think they are making the right move in putting some kind of checks in what you're saying online.
Yeah. But some would say that that's stifling free speech, which is like one of the, the major bedrock of democracy.
Yes, yes.
So, I mean, do you believe that they're stifling check free speech with what they're
Okay,
doing?
so for me, I believe it's kind of dicey
Yeah.
because yeah, as a human being, you have your free rights to speak. You have your right to voice your views and opinions as you like. But also, we also need to put to the fact that hate speeches could affect negatively.
Yeah.
So. But I feel if you can come into a balance of how these checks could be put in place, it will add more value to the social media world. Yeah.
So that's in terms of conversation and also in terms of conduct. But let's head over to Warsaw where Victor Bamishai is joining us. Victor, what's your take on this? Do you think the big tech companies are becoming too powerful?
Well, thank you very much. The concept would always be anyone who provides a platform uh, is as powerful as the control he has over that platform. And again, the context of the discussion borders on freedom, and the question would be how free is freedom? You see, with freedom comes responsibility and certain borders. And so, as much as every individual could have the ability or could have the freedom to speak, that does not necessarily translate to freedom of reach. And so, if you will not be taking responsibility to make sure your speech is not inflammatory, the tech providers, the platform providers would argue that they have the responsibility to make sure that they do not give you the reach to poison the society or the environment. So consequentially, that would mean that while they are not stopping you from saying what you want to say, they are saying no, not on our platform. And there are rules that you signed on to when you join that platform. So when you go against that, those who provide the platform could say, you've gone against our laws, you've gone against our rules. We are not saying you cannot say what you want to say, but you just cannot make use of our platform. So eventually, where the right of one injures the right of many, the right of one would have to give way in the view of these platform providers.
All right. So again, like you said, I mean, with freedom comes responsibility. But people have pretty much gone against, or they've taken that responsibility, for granted. Because I mean, it's social media, and people just think that it's just this place where you just post trivial updates. But it seems things are becoming a lot more difficult and tighter, and perhaps that's why we're having all of these restrictions coming into place. But moving forward, especially in terms of the governance of the internet and also laws that people can actually run to when they feel that some wrong has been done to them, how effective would you say these laws are, not only in Nigeria or Africa, but on the global scale?
Yeah, I would say that certain countries have certain laws that govern the web, and probably the web right now is the most difficult place to govern. But however, there has to be things that are done because people certainly feel that they are untouchable on the web. And these things are not just on the web, they affect everyday life. People lose their lives because of inflammatory statements that are made online. Threats are being made to people's life online. And so every country would definitely have to make laws, but within, like I said, what is within the purview of these platform providers now, all they can do is their best to regulate until that time where government can, bring out laws that may be able to regulate this. But until then, you still have to, conform to the terms and conditions you signed on to when you join those platforms.
All right, I'll come back to you in just a minute, but Buddy, let me come back to you now.
Okay.
Talking about terms and conditions. There's this terms and conditions that this certain social media platform has said that if people don't accept it, I mean, it's take it or leave it, so to speak. Now, this is supposed to be like a free world, so to speak. So you're forcing something down the throats of people, and you're saying if you don't take it, you lose access. But one of the major reasons why people are pretty much having this uproar is the privacy of their data.
Yes.
Do we even have privacy laws, data privacy laws that would have put this company in check?
Okay, so I'm very much familiar about the UK and the European Union.
That's the
They have,
GDPR.
yes, yes, yes. So they have laws that govern private data privacy in their segments and countries. But as for other parts, so I believe that these laws are not really strong.
Effective.
Yes, they're not really strong. So I believe that most countries and governments should actually come together and put these companies in check. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, so if they now, I'm just thinking, you know, if they violate my privacy or they take my data, what is the possible thing they can use that data for?
Okay, so with the likes of these current companies that we've heard about, I believe that for this case, our messages, our contacts are safe because they are not really being exposed. But when Facebook bought WhatsApp in 2016, they've been sharing data, right? So it's not new. It's not new. It's just that right now people are now more aware. Do you understand? So the effect is just maybe knowing that it's just these companies having access to your phone number, to your number of logs and the like. So to me, I think the effect is not as risky as
people see it.
Exactly.
Well, Victor, do you believe that the effects of these data being out there for sister companies or so now Facebook and WhatsApp, do you think that our data being out there for them isn't as risky as people are fearing?
Well, that is dicey because the whole idea of data is because of the wealth that is in it. And so countries understand the power and the wealth in data, and that's why they are trying to protect it. So for WhatsApp, as it used to be, could have been respecting the laws of certain countries, you know, by not exporting outside. But Facebook is a bigger, which is the parent company, is a bigger company, probably that of the US, and so may not be necessarily following the European laws or probably Indian laws or Nigerian laws. And so that's where that problem comes. Ordinarily, you would say it doesn't make little difference except for advertising, you see, and probably all of the fears that people have always had before, either founded or unfounded. But in real sense, it has not made much difference to my understanding.
Okay, so pretty much that's one of the concerns. You know, if you have laws here and there, and they respect some in some countries, and you don't respect some in other countries, isn't that a problem, Victor?
I didn't get you.
Oh, I'm saying that, like you said, they respect these laws in some countries. Like in Europe, we've seen that there's actually been some fines for some of those big tech companies, which is because in some instances, they respect the laws in some countries, and in some countries they don't. How do we get them to respect the laws, if we have any, in every part of the world?
Well, for every product provider or service provider, they understand what market means. So, and the market potential, for instance, in Nigeria is so huge, big services would not like to lose that. So that becomes our leverage to make them obey our laws, because, for service providers, for them, it's about the number of people using their services, and that's what they consider the spread as their success. So Nigeria, as a big market, must be able to leverage on that to make them, obey our laws on media, on data. I am not sure how much of that we have. I'm not really educated on how much laws Nigeria has. And number two, Nigeria also has a problem with having laws but never implementing them. So those two are still a problem for me in that regard. But in any case, because we are a big market, they may be forced to, come to the table and then respect whatever laws we want to implement.
Well, let's hope they do come to the table and respect any law, and hopefully the fears that Nigerians and even many other users of these platforms have will be allayed as time goes on. But I have to say thank you, Victor Bamishayi, for joining us on the program today.